Strategy. It's a word we hear all the time, right? It gets thrown around in every boardroom, in every meeting, but what does it actually mean? So often, it's just a fancy buzzword, used to make a simple goal sound way more important than it is. Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to get to the heart of what a real strategy looks like.
Okay, let's start with a classic. You're in a meeting and someone declares, with a ton of confidence, our strategy is to be the first mover. It sounds powerful, doesn't it? Decisive, bold.
Yeah, no, that's not a strategy. Being first is a tactic. It's one move on the chessboard. It doesn't answer the bigger, more important questions like, first at what? In which market? And most importantly, how are you going to win once the competition inevitably shows up?
All right, here's another one you've probably heard a million times. The big idea is to win by simply being the cheapest option available. And look, for some companies, that's a perfectly good goal to have.
But again, that's not the strategy itself. Being low cost is a market position. It's the what, not the how. The real strategy is how you actually achieve and, crucially, sustain that low price. Is it because you have an amazing supply chain? A breakthrough in manufacturing? That's the strategy.
And for our grand finale of not quite strategies, we have this gem. It sounds massive, ambitious. We are going global. It signals growth, scale, world domination. And you guessed it, that's not a strategy either. It's just a choice about geography. See, all of these statements are like strategic threats. They're important pieces of the puzzle for sure, but they are not the whole picture. To build a real strategy, we need to go back to the beginning.
The word strategy actually comes from the ancient Greek word strategos, which means the art of the general. And that's the key. It's not about winning a single skirmish. It's about having a vision for how to win the entire war.
Think about it like you're a general, a great one, like Hannibal. His goal was simple, defeat Rome. But that wasn't his strategy. His strategy was a set of interconnected choices designed to give him an advantage. He decided to cross the Alps, a move nobody expected, to attack Rome where they were weakest. See, a general sees the whole battlefield and coordinates all the moving parts to win. That is strategy.
Okay, so that's great for an ancient general, but how do we apply that to business today? How do you build a real modern strategy? Well, it turns out it all boils down to answering 4 fundamental questions.
First up, and this is the big one, where do we compete? You absolutely have to define your battlefield, because let's be honest, you can't be everything to everyone everywhere. It just doesn't work.
And this isn't a vague question. It means you have to make some tough choices. Are you in the software game or the hardware game? Are you targeting luxury clients or families on a budget? Are you focusing on your home turf or are you expanding overseas? You have to draw the lines of your sandbox. That's always step 1.
Okay, so once you've defined your battlefield, the next question is crucial. What unique value do we bring to the fight? This is your secret weapon, your value proposition.
Let's put it bluntly. Why should anyone choose you over all the other options? Is it because you're the cheapest? Is it because your product does something nobody else's can? Or maybe it's the trust and reliability that comes with your brand name. You need a crystal clear answer here.
All right, question 3 flips the script and makes us look inward. To deliver that unique value we just talked about, what resources and capabilities are we going to use? This is all about what's under your hood.
And here's a really key distinction. Resources are the tools you have in your toolbox, things like patents, a strong brand reputation, or access to certain raw materials. But capabilities, that's the skill in how you use those tools. It's your unique process that lets you combine those resources in a way that nobody else can.
And that brings us to the 4th and final question, which honestly might be the most important one of all. How do we keep this going? How do we sustain our unique value over the long haul? Because a great idea that gets copied in a week isn't a strategy. It's just a flash in the pan.
You've got to build a moat around your business. What makes what you do so hard to imitate? What stops a competitor from just, copying everything you do next week and stealing your customers? Is it your brand, your complex operations? Whatever it is, a real strategy has to be defensible.
Okay, that's a lot of theory, so let's make this real. And there's no better way to do that than with the company we all know, IKEA. Let's run them through our 4-question framework and see how it all works in practice.
Just look at how perfectly these answers lock together. 1. Where do they compete? Globally, targeting young, style-conscious people who don't have a ton of money. 2. What's their unique value? You get stylish furniture, you get it cheap, and you get to take it home today. 3. How do they do it?
Their core resource is designing everything for flat packing, which allows for massive volume. And 4, how do they sustain it? Their entire global supply chain, from the designers to the factories to the giant blue stores, is built around this one idea. It is incredibly difficult for anyone else to copy.
And this brings up one of the most powerful ideas in strategy. What you choose not to do is just as important as what you do. IKEA doesn't do high-end, custom-built furniture. They don't have an army of salespeople waiting to help you. By saying no to those things, they can be the absolute best at their own model. These trade-offs, that's the sign of a brilliant strategy. So when you put it all together, you see that strategy isn't some 100-page document that gathers dust on a shelf. It's a living, breathing set of coherent choices. Each choice reinforces the others to create a unique and defensible place in the market. So if you remember anything from this, remember these 4 questions. They are your new strategic toolkit. Where do we compete? What unique value do we bring? What resources and capabilities do we use to deliver it? And finally, how do we protect it?
So, I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Forget the buzzwords for a minute. Think about your own business or your team, or even just your own career path. Can you answer these 4 questions clearly? Because if the answers aren't clear, and if they don't connect to each other, you don't just have a weak strategy. You might not have one at all.